Hello, and welcome to a 30-minute introduction to Gee Whiz Education. My name is Beth Smith, and I'm going to take you through very briefly who Gee Whiz is, why we exist, and how we work with family child care providers. We're going to cover 9 different areas during this very short webinar. We do also have a longer version of this webinar on our website and our YouTube channel that you're welcome to watch. But this will give you a good idea of who we are and what we do in a short period of time. So first, in part 1, we're going to talk a little bit about who Gee Whiz is and how we are unique to family child care. Gee Whiz started back in 2012, and we've been around since then. Our main goal in creating Gee Whiz was to create a curriculum that addressed mixed age groups and including school-age children, and also that was very economical and was aligned with state standards. So to date, we are approved in many different states, including Florida and Illinois and Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and some others. And we're also aligned to the states, most of the states in the United States. And you can find that information if you scroll down on our homepage. There is a map down here. I'm going to just scroll down quickly where you can see if we're aligned in your state, which we should be, and click on here to go to your state standards. It was very important for us to align and be approved in as many states as we could because we know that's very important to family child care providers for a number of reasons. So that wraps up part 1 of who Gee Whiz is and why we exist. And now I'm going to move on to part 2. Part 2 involves our user's guide. Our user's guide is like our training manual, and when we do our extended training, which is an hour or longer, we go through this guide in great detail. I'm not going to do that here because there are other things I would like to spend some time on that I think will be more beneficial for you, but I want to show you where that user's guide is. If you go to Our Products and you come down here and click, another page will open, and if you scroll down, you'll see a document. The majority of documents on the Gee Whiz website are PDF files, and as long as you have Adobe Reader on your computer, which most do these days, you should be able to open it without a problem. And all you do to open it is click. And like I said, this is a very long document. It's probably about 50 to 60 pages in length, so we're not going to go through that during this quick introduction to Gee Whiz, but I want to show you what's in here because there's a lot of great information, and if you want to get into more depth on this guide, you will want to attend our 1-hour training session that we do as a webinar. We also have it posted on our website, so you can listen to the recording at any time, and also our YouTube channel. So there are 5 sections in the user's guide. One talks about your role. This section talks about individualization and authentic assessment, including taking anecdotal notes and doing observations and using our individualization web, which I will show you what that is. This section talks about the 10 developmental areas that Gee Whiz covers, and that's really, really important. We cover all 10 developmental areas. And these are the same 10 developmental areas that are on most state standard alignments. Section 4 talks about our philosophy, research, and more. We are based on educational research, and we keep updating the research upon which we are based as new research comes out to make us current. And then the last section is about implementing the curriculum. It takes you through all the components. There are also some additional information in the back about other things that we do for our customers, materials to collect, some recipes, etc. Like I said, I am not going to spend time right now to go through this guide because literally I could take hours to go through here, but I wanted you to be aware of where it was and why it is so important. So again, I'm going to hit the back button, and I want to show you where I went again. I went to Our Products. I'm going to hit one more time, and then it won't overlap. Our Products. And then over here to the Gee Whiz Education User's Guide. You can think of it as our training manual. Some of our customers will print this out and put it in a binder. Some will just keep it on their computer, saved in a file. It's really up to you how you do things with Gee Whiz because we are digital. Everything we do lives on this website. We don't print materials and ship you a box. You can choose what to print and whether or not you even want to print. Okay, so that is the user's guide. That is part 2 of this 30-minute introduction. So again, user's guide, that's your training manual. Now we will wrap up. Now that we've wrapped up part 2, we'll get ready to go to part 3. So in part 3, we're going to look at our sample daily lesson plan. This is probably one of the most important components of the Gee Whiz curriculum, and one that most new customers are interested in learning more about, and also one of the most important parts for those of you who might be involved with training or CCR&Rs about the why we do things the way we do at Gee Whiz. So I'm going to click to open that page, and again, I'm under Our Products, One Day Sample Lesson. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click here to open the lesson plan. Again, this is a PDF file. So each day in the Gee Whiz curriculum has 2 pages. There's one page that looks like this, and we're going to scroll down then and see the second page, but I want to cover the first page. Up in the top corner, you'll see a green box that has the day, and you'll notice we do not use dates. The Gee Whiz curriculum is not a dated curriculum. You can do these experiences at any time you would like. They are not tied to holidays nor seasons. We cover that in a separate part of our website and include those types of activities for free, both to customers and non-customers. You'll see the name of our unit, in this case, boxes, blankets, and balls. The focus today is fun with packing boxes. And then you're going to see a whole lot of pictures. Each one of these pictures corresponds to a developmental area. So the heart corresponds to social and emotional development, language development, physical development and health, approaches to learning, creative arts, science knowledge, music, literacy knowledge, social studies knowledge, math knowledge, and logic and reasoning. So in other words, if you do all of the experiences that we have planned for the day, you will cover all of those developmental areas for all the children in your group. This just explains that. Then if you go down to the individual experiences, this is our exploring together, and I'll get into that in a second, you'll see picture codes listed here. These mean if you do this activity, these are the areas of development you will cover. We always have a health and safety tip every day, we have a teaching tip every day, and we have a transition idea every day. If you see this symbol in the lesson plans, or here it is relating to the teaching trip, that means that it is related to character education. We build character education into the Gee Whiz curriculum. We touch on things like responsibility, respect, honesty, and kindness. So when you see this symbol, you know that the activity or the experience is going to address character education. In this blue box, you'll find ways that we help you model language. At Gee Whiz, we believe it is very, very important for you to understand your role as a model, particularly in the areas of language and vocabulary. And so these are words that we want you to use in conversations with children during the day. And then these are some additional ideas on how you can continue to model language. It's so important for you to realize that children are listening to you at all times. So the more you talk to them, the better, because it will help them build language and vocabulary. And then we have our Exploring Together activity. We used to call this circle time, but we decided circle time really wasn't the right words, because during this experience, the children really are exploring with you and learning together. So that's why we changed the name. Again, you'll see the cumulative list of picture codes. So if you do this Exploring Together activity, you're going to cover language, social and emotional, literacy, science, logic and reasoning, physical development and health, music, creative arts, social studies, and approaches to learning. In addition to that, if you see the Get Moving, that means the children are going to be moving. They're going to be building gross motor skills. One of the most important things about the lesson plans with Gee Whiz is this first bullet point. It explains why you're doing the activity. So it ties back to these developmental areas and the goals that you're going to have and the areas you're going to develop. So it's really important to read that first bullet and understand why you're doing an activity or an experience. Then this just walks you through how to do it. We also believe at Gee Whiz that questioning is very, very important. So we include questions that get children thinking. For instance, who would you like to mail a package to, and what would you send to them? There's no right or wrong answer to that, and it's a great way to open up the door to conversation between children, between you and the children, and those who are nonverbal will learn just by listening to all of that. So that's the first half of the day, and here's the second half. You'll see 2 pink experiences and a purple one. The pink experiences are small group experiences for your toddlers through your 4-year-olds, and then your purple one is for your infants. It's set up in the same way, where you have the picture codes for the developmental areas. Then it has the materials you will need. Again, the first bullet point is the why, and some of them you'll find adaptations to help you adjust for different developmental areas. Now remember, this is not their chronological age. In other words, not just a 3-year-old, but somebody who's maybe functioning like a young 3-year-old or functioning like an older 3. So what I encourage you to do is read both and decide based on each child which one you think would work best. But it's a great way for you to do the same experience, just adapting it in different ways. More questions. The top questions go with this experience. The bottom question goes with this one. If you see a sunshine, it can be done outside. And then your infant experience, because they need their own experiences to do one-on-one with you. That doesn't mean other children might not choose to join in, but this is designed for infants. We also give you an idea, a space where you can add your own activities. You can write notes about how things went or just things you needed to do to get ready for the day. That's up to you. So this is an example of one day of lesson plans. I would encourage you, if you have any questions about this, to shoot us an email at customerservice@geewhizeducation.com. We're happy to answer any questions you have about how the lesson plans are laid out and how they work. But that wraps up section 3 of this short webinar. I'm going to keep things moving. And so to go out of here, I'm just going to hit my X to get out of the lesson plans. I'm going to go back home. And we're going to wrap up section 3 and get ready to go to part 4. In part 4, I want to look at our yearly outline, which is right here. The Gee Whiz curriculum is based on 2 different units each month. These units are interrelated in some ways, but they could also stand alone. And remember, there are no dates. So for instance, our units for September are Who Am I and Amazing Art. Each one of these units is going to cover all 10 developmental areas, and it's going to have activities for all ages. Now you will notice when you look at this that we have some STEM features, we have some opposites, our character education is spelled out, but you will not see like a letter of the unit, a number of the unit, a shape of the unit, and that's intentional. Doesn't mean we're not, during Who Am I, going to talk about letters, letter sounds, numbers, shapes. Absolutely not. We build that into our experiences because that's how we believe it's most important for children to learn so that it's meaningful to them. So this is one page of our unit for 2018-19. And if you scroll down, you'll see the second half of the unit. Each unit is written with children from birth to school age in mind. So we try to touch on all the different ages. And when you subscribe, you will have access to 2 units each month. So we post these. For instance, the September units were posted on or around August the 20th and the 25th. The first unit was posted on the 20th of August, the second on the 25th. And then so October units would then be posted on September the 20th and the 25th or thereabouts. We have a calendar on our website that explains when we post them. It's important to save them, though, because we do take them down, and I'm going to explain that when we get a little bit further along. But I'm going to hit my back button, and that wraps up section 4. I'm going to pause for a second, and we'll get ready to log in so you can see how you would log in if you were a customer. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to sign in to my account just as you would if you were a customer. You will have a username and you will have a password. If I can type it right, that is. And if you ever forgot your password, you could just click Forgot Password and a new one would be emailed to you. And you can change that at any time. All right, so I'm going to go over here. You'll see a new tab has popped up called GWE Customers. And this is where you're going to go to get to the curriculum once you've subscribed and you've paid and your payment has cleared. So I'm going to click on this month's units. And as I just mentioned, our September units are here. So here's Who Am I? And the download buttons for that one, and Amazing Art, and the download buttons for that one. All right, I'm going to scroll back up again. And you'll notice we have files here and files here. The English files are here, the Spanish files are here, and I'll go in there in a second and show you which files are available in Spanish. But first I'm going to go here. So as you scroll down, you'll see a little introduction to what this unit is going to be about. And then you're going to see a series of titles with download buttons. So Teacher's Guide, Story Props, Individualization Web, Materials List, Family Letter, All About Me, etc. Each one of the components that's for this unit, Who Am I, has a download button that you'll want to download. Some of these, when you save them to your computer, you can choose whether you want to print them or not. Others you will want to print, like the story props, because you're going to be using them. But even the Teacher's Guide, it's totally up to you whether you print it or not. So I'm going to go to the Teacher's Guide right now. Again, it's just like the User's Guide and the other materials. It's a PDF file. It starts with an introduction to the unit, a table of contents. Anything you need a little bit of extra time to prepare or to gather would be in these yellow boxes. We also have a materials list. I'll show you that in a second. The table of contents just goes over what's in here. Here's a list of those developmental areas in case you forget what the pictures are about. Also, the Get Moving, Sunshine, and Character Education icons are there. And this is a grid that shows you, in just by the titles of the experiences, what's planned for this unit. Some providers will print this out and display it for parents. That's totally up to you. And then we get into the lesson plans, just like the one we just looked at as the sample, where we have the unit, the focus, the cumulative list of developmental areas, health and safety, teaching tip, transition, ways to promote language development and modeling language, your exploring together experience, your questions to ask. That's the first half of the day. And then we have your two small groups in the pink for your toddlers through your 4s, and then your purple, which is your infant. And this teaching guide is about 30-some pages in length. So again, some providers will choose to print this out. Others will just save it to their computer or their laptop and view it online. That is totally up to you. You can also choose to print it in just grayscale or black and white to save on ink. Your print button will show up either up here or down here, depending on whether you're on a PC or a Mac usually. And then it goes on to day 2 and day 3, and I'm going to go pretty fast as I scroll down through here because I want to show you where the school age are. So 10 days of activities just like this, 2 pages for each day. And I'm going to grab my cursor now that I can see it and go to past day 10. So we have 10 days of this. Notice anything in red would just be something you might need a little extra time to gather. I'll show you that on the materials list as well. And then we get to the school age activities, which are right here. The school age activities are for those children who might be with you after school. They're fun things to do, but they're also great things to promote learning. Each one can be extended for more than one day, and that's because these children can do that. They're able to carry things over from one day to the next. So there are 6 of these, and you can choose how to use these however you would like. And then once you get past the school age activities, you have our story. If there was an original, there are always original stories in the first unit. This one happens to be a booklet, so the text is not here. But let's say they were flannel board pieces. The text would be here in the teaching guide. Then the directions for the Make It sheets. These are totally optional. They are not written into the curriculum in any way, shape, or form, but you may choose to use them if you would like to. And again, you can print out up to 12 copies. So let's say you only have one child who you think is ready to do this. You can just print one. These experiences for older preschoolers are those who are getting ready to go to kindergarten, or anyone who's ready to talk more about letters, letter sounds, and do some writing. Also more advanced math, in this case addition and subtraction. And then this is a cumulative list of the learning indicators by activity. Each activity that we do at Gee Whiz addresses the different developmental areas, but it also has more specific skills tied to those developmental areas, and that is in our user's guide. These codes correlate to those. So you want to look at the user's guide for the section on learning indicators to see what, for instance, LD1 means. But just know that when you look at this chart, it tells you exactly what skills you're developing. And there's the 10 days here and the school age here. We also give you a book list, so you can go to the library and get books that reinforce the theme. We put songs and poems back here because normally they just do not fit anywhere else. And sometimes we throw goodies back here too, things that we think might make it easier for you to do activities. So I'm going to go back out of the teacher's guide, and I'm going to show you all the other components. So here are the story props. Again, you would just click to download. This is our I Feel booklet, and you would go up here to print. You would also save that to your computer, which you would do by clicking on this button, because you want to make sure you have a copy both saved to your computer and saved to either the cloud, a flash drive, an external hard drive, something so you have an extra copy in case something happens to your computer, which we all know things do. The individualization web looks like this. This ties in with anecdotal notes and observations. Again, you'll want to look at the user's guide to get more detail on this. You print one of those for each child. Here's the materials list that I referenced. This is all the materials you're going to need to do all the activities each day. Anything in red just needs a little bit of extra time to get it prepared or gathered, perhaps. And then there's space also here on the back for your own activities to add notes, and anything that you need from home would probably be in yellow. The family letter is right here. This can be saved to your computer, and then you can email it to parents if you don't want to print it out. Or, of course, you can print it out. It has a little introduction, what topics you're going to cover, and then some simple things they can do during bath time, mealtime, bedtime, and when riding in the car. And we usually have a song or a poem. I'm going to back out of there. The All About My Week report is a report that would go home at the end of the week that you can fill out about each child, and then you can put a copy in their portfolio. Back out of there. Scrolling down, the digital family notes are like JPEGs, so like a picture. You can actually text these to parents and caregivers if you save them to your phone. They're very simple things. Again, they can do at home. There's two of those, one here and one there. Here's the Make It sheets that we saw in the teacher's guide that are optional. You can print those out from here. And then a monthly provider review, which is a way for you to reflect on how the month went. So after you download and you save all those to your computer and you back them up to the cloud or to a flash drive, you would go back out of here and you would scroll down. And if you needed Spanish, because maybe you have some Spanish-speaking families, you would click this button, and you would be able to see that you could download the digital family notes, the All About My Week report, the family letter, and the Make It sheets in this case in Spanish. I'm going to click on the Spanish family letter, and here it would be. So if you have families that speak Spanish, you can use these tools to help you communicate with them about what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to back out of the Spanish. And then after you're done with all of the first unit, you would do the same exact thing for the second one by scrolling down and doing all the English files and then all the Spanish files. Okay, I'm going to back out of there. That wraps up our section number 5 and actually number 6, and we'll get ready to go on. Well, and actually number 7, we covered 3 right there. Number 7, I'm going to pause right here, and we'll go on to section number 8. At Gee Whiz, we want to support providers, and to do that, we have a section called FCC Tools. Everything under this tab is free to everybody. So I'm going to click on Tools for Providers and just show you a little bit about what's here. This was from Provider Appreciation Day. We have a weather chart. We have a sample daily schedule. And on the back of that, and in that document, there's also a blank one. We have some center labels. And we had a fish pattern that we needed to provide, so we put that there. There's also under here checklists, developmental checklists if you need them for birth through 4. These were provided by the CDC. So let's say you need a checklist for up to a 2-year-old. You would just click here, and these are also available in English and Spanish. I believe the English is first, and if you scroll down, then you will see the Spanish. You do not need to be a customer to get to these. Everything under the FCC Tools tab is available to everybody. So there's a lot of things under here for social and emotional, character education, health, tools for parents. Our blog is here, disabilities. So you want to check out all those things that are available to you. And that wraps up number 8. And now I'm going to go over how to order Gee Whiz. You have 2 options. You can go to our pricing tab, or you can scroll down, and here are our prices. Monthly, it's $18.95. Quarterly, it's $53.95. Or yearly, it's $192.95. So let's say I wanted to subscribe monthly. I would click on that button. I would once again select which one I want. And I'm logged in right now, so it's not going to give me the option to order again. But if it did, I would fill out the information here with my name, my billing address, my credit card information, the email that I want to use, just like you would if you were ordering anything from anyone else. And then make sure you click the Submit and Check Out button, because if you don't, it will not process. At that point, once it processes, you should get an email from us that will say, congratulations, you're now a Gee Whiz customer. And then what you'll do is you'll go back to the sign in button, you'll put in your username, you will get a password, you'll choose your password, put it in there, and then you can log in and get to the materials. It's really actually very simple. If you have any questions or if something isn't working right, you can always email us, and I'll show you where to do that as well. So the best way to reach us is to go to Support, click on Contact Us, and fill out the information. And if you put a lot of information in this box, that's fine. It'll take a lot of information, and the more information you give us on the front end, the better we can help you. All right, that is Gee Whiz Education in 30 minutes or less. If you have any questions, again, like I just showed you, go to Support, go to Contact Us, shoot us an email. There's also a lot of questions and answers under Frequently Asked Questions. If you've forgotten, let's say you decide you want to order and you've forgotten how to do that and how to get to the curriculum, do not worry. Just click on that tab right there under Support, Getting Started with Gee Whiz. Scroll down, click on this, and we have a step-by-step with screenshots of how to log in and get to the actual curriculum. And this is very helpful for a lot of people. But again, if you're still having trouble, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this quick video. I'm going to go back home. I will also show you really quickly where to scroll down to get to our video gallery, which is right here. And you can also scroll farther down, again, to get to that map where you look at the alignments. And then sign up for our email. We're always announcing freebies in our next webinar, so you want to sign up there. And then down here at the very bottom, you'll find our events calendar. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you found this helpful. Bye.